this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the truth on your higher self in the manifestation process. I'm going to be sharing a perspective that I hardly hear anyone mention, but nonetheless, it's one of the biggest game changers when you begin to apply it in your life. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the truth on your higher self and understanding this larger aspect of manifestation that hardly people tap into. And when you tap into this level, everything changes because you begin to manifest from a higher vibrational state of consciousness. So I'm going to give you some tips and tools as to how to find out what that is and what to actually do to be living from that higher self level of vibration. Now, in order to do this, I decided I have my handy dandy notebook today, which is this big post-it note, like from Blue's Clues, if you remember that. Anyways, so the way that I want to explain this is understanding really who we are. Once we understand who we are, we then see why sometimes certain things we want to manifest don't come into fruition. Maybe you see sometimes people are like, oh, they want to manifest something. And the thing is also, they're focused on the things they want to get. They're focused on, oh, I want this type of car. I want this, I want to win the lottery. Now, there's nothing wrong with this, but the thing is being aware of how that fits into the larger picture of what we agreed to experience in our life. Because if it's out of alignment with the true desire of our soul, then sometimes those things won't happen. Or it will happen in a way different than we expect it to. But that's why as well, it's always more important than the things we want to manifest, than the car or whatever it is the person we will become, is the kind of person we prefer to be, because that's at the deeper root than anything else. But let me show you this understanding. I think this will really clear up a lot of the law of attraction confusion in general, and understanding why some things happen the way that they do. Now, imagine it like this. We are immortal spiritual beings live in very temporary human experiences. And when we chose to come and have an earth experience, to be here, we agreed to certain things. We agreed we were up here, we could call this the higher dimensions. We were up here in the higher dimensions, which I always use stick figures. We're just a little bit more holy. We're a little bit more higher vibrational. We're of a higher vibrational level of consciousness. We're up here, and what we're doing is we're looking down here on Earth, and what we're doing is we're deciding, we're like, okay, I'm going to come here, and when we go to Earth, what we do is we know that we are going to forget that this is who we are, that we are immortal spiritual beings living temporary human experiences. We're going to forget that, and one of the purposes of Earth, because Earth is in a way like a school, we're going to have the intention of learning and remembering who we are at a greater level. So that's one of the intentions that we have, is to remember who we are, because we have this veil of forgetfulness when we go from here to here. And what happens is our higher self, call this the higher self, is making choices with other guides, with other aspects of ourselves, deciding what do we want to experience. So it could be, you could call this like a contract at some level. There's certain things that we agree to, and we say, you know what, in life, these are the challenges I'm going to have. These are the things I want to experience. I want to be and have a relationship with this type of person, or this person, this soul in general. And what we do is we decide that according to this checklist right here, imagine this is a checklist, we are going to come to Earth. We're going to have a veil of forgetfulness, and then we're going to come to Earth. So then what happens is we're on Earth, we forget who we are, and we have our ego self. The ego doesn't necessarily remember that at a higher self point of view, we agreed to many of the things we're going to experience in our life. And there's a certain layout for kind of intentions that we had. Maybe it was to be a certain type of person. Maybe it was to accomplish something specific. And we had the intentions to accomplish these things. However, what sometimes happens is we get lost in the game of life. We get lost forgetting that we are immortal spiritual beings, because this version of us is beyond the vibration we can even imagine. Very, very, very high vibration. And here's the cool thing. Every night when we go to bed, we wake up and we're so connected to this version of us, but then we come back and we remember. When we wake back up, when we're sleeping and we wake up in the morning, we forget this because this doesn't have any reference experience for who we really are. What I mean by this is we interpret the world with our ego, and our ego only knows and interprets through the five senses. So the brain has the brain, but it has the five senses that we interpret reality through. That's the avatar. And what happens is we can't even imagine what's happening in this higher vibrational state of consciousness. And because of that, there is sometimes we don't remember these aspects of ourselves. When we go to bed every single night, we're connected to it. And then before we were born and after we die. This is really who we are. What we're doing is we're just dreaming that this is who we are on earth. When we go through a veil of forgetfulness. We forget that this is who we are. But nonetheless, we are more the higher self than anything else because this is a dream of life experience. Earth is a place that we go to. It's like a master class. It's a place where we go to learn a lot of the understandings of how we can stop negative patterns, how we can grow. Earth is one of the places that's very sought out because we can grow so much in such a short period of time. Up here, we're of such a high vibration that we don't feel negative emotion. Now, maybe you'd say, oh, that's a great thing. And it is, but we learn so much when we have this dense energy here. And what we do is we have a body that can buffer that. So this is about being aware of these dynamics. Now, here's the thing. We have certain intentions that our soul decided to have before we came here, certain contracts, if you will. Now, these contracts may be flexible. They may be things like I'm going to have a relationship with this person. They may be things like I'm going to go through, for example, I went through certain things growing up that were very painful. At a certain level, it may have been a soul contract because those things got me to a place of pressure that eventually led me to a spiritual awakening. And that spiritual awakening just means that this is my ego self, and I just remember this. I remember this. I remember the being present to the moment and more of this understanding of the spiritual awareness of being immortal spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. That's what they call spiritual awakening. Now, the way this relates to manifestation is when we come to Earth, there's an other aspect of it that we agree to, but we might not even be aware of. So maybe what I'll do is turn this thing around real quick, and I'll show you this different aspect. Now, when we come to Earth, what happens is we have this, let's say we're on Earth. When we come, we decide that we're going to be part of a collective consciousness. So because we're going to become a part of a collective consciousness, when we're born here, there is this matrix around the Earth. Let's say that this is the Earth right here. This is the Earth. There is this grid around the Earth. We can call this a veil. We can call this a bubble, whatever you want to call it. Nonetheless, the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we feel, are constantly carrying a trail in reality. So, for example, I could walk over here. I could walk over here. There's an energy pattern that's being instilled into the spaces that I'm at on Earth. Now, these are invisible to the eye, but they still exist. Us having that of our thoughts, we think that our thoughts are something that we have. That's a thought form. We think that the thoughts that we have are just they're just in the ethers, but they actually have a form. It's just we can't see it. Now, the thing is when we're born into Earth, what happens is these thought forms are everywhere from everyone else that's already here. So many times we will pick up the thought forms of other people saying, oh, these are my own thoughts. When a lot of times they're the thoughts of the social conditioning, they're the thoughts of the collective consciousness. So you may have groups of people that live in certain countries or whatever it is that are thinking of certain things, and then we may say, oh, that's my thought. For example, we may be really emotionally mad if a certain football team loses. But also there's a lot of other people that are also mad that have a thought form about the football team losing. So if our thought links up to that, we end up feeling into that collective manifestation, that collective feeling. So this is about being aware of these different energy dynamics. So the key is to realize that our natural vibration is very, very high. When we attach ourselves to these thought forms around us, and we even think they're our own thoughts when many times they're not, then we end up lowering our light quotient. We end up lowering our vibration. Now, in general, like I was showing you a minute ago, when it comes to that of our vibration is naturally very high. Our vibration is unconditional love and bliss, but we are buffering it in earth because of these thought forms, because of the social conditioning. Now, here's the main part of the video. The key to us accepting this is, first off, accepting that we are more than our physical bodies, we are more than the ego, and then knowing that there is this higher self version of us, and what we can begin to do is to connect to it. The bridge that connects us to this is our passion. When we are doing what we are passionate about, this is our body's translation that is telling us, this is who you are. Our higher self is emitting a frequency to us at all times. And that frequency is that of unconditional love, is a frequency of passion. And when we follow our passion, which just simply means in every moment we do the most exciting thing we can do, then what we do is we end up bridging this. We end up raising our vibration, and we are letting go of things that don't serve us. Those other thought forms may come up, but the thing is if our vibration is high, it doesn't, and those are lower vibrational thought forms, it doesn't even affect us because we have raised our vibration. So the key is to actually allow more of this higher self through, and a way that we do that is by connecting with our heart. A way that we do that is not by being not attached to the outcome. The way that we do that is by understanding, first and foremost, this is who we are, and there's certain things that we've agreed to. Now, there's certain things that we've agreed to, and in this sense, we may say, I want this thing, I want a Lamborghini, I want to win the lottery. Now, some of those things may be counterproductive. Me, for example, I used to think, wouldn't it be so cool to win the lottery? But here's the thing. I know that my purpose in life is to speak in front of people. I know my purpose in life is to do what I'm doing right now. But a year or two ago, it would have been nice to have, $100 million and not have to do anything. And I could say, well, maybe I'd have $100 million and I would still want to speak. I would just have more than enough. But honestly, probably not. Probably I would have $100 million. And at the version of me that it took, see, the thing is 2 years ago, the version of me that would have happily taken the $200 million wouldn't have then moved into what I do today. The version of me now would do that because I know that that's my larger purpose. That's what I agreed to. However, the person you become in the process of this passion, of this bridge, is everything. Because now that I've become the kind of person, I am in a way merging these two together. It's an experience that can't be taken away from me, and I can always recreate things from this level of awareness. So the key to this whole video is understanding that you can begin to connect to your higher self using this bridge of passion, understanding that this is who you are. On a scale of vibration, this would be over 1,000. There's a scale of vibration of consciousness. It goes from 0 to 1,000. And at 1,000, that's considered enlightenment, joy, peace. The thing is that's who we naturally are. We are of this natural high vibration. We've gone through the veil of forgetfulness to be born on earth. Earth is a game. Earth is a short temporary time. We are only here for maybe 100 years. And the key is knowing that this is just a school. This is a school where we go to let go of a lot of stuff that doesn't serve, to work through things in a much more accelerated way, because in the higher dimensions, we have abilities you can't even imagine. We're able to do things. We're able to travel at very great distances. We have technology we couldn't even imagine. We have technology that interfaces with consciousness. So it's not like, oh, we have a little iPhone and we're looking into it. It goes much further beyond that. But this is who we naturally are. High vibrational beings of love and light. We have simply gone through a veil of forgetfulness to come to earth. The key is connecting with our passion, because when we are connected to our passion, passion is our body's translation that is telling us, hey, Aaron, go in this direction. Hey, whatever your name is, go in this direction. This is who you really are. This will lead you to being more and more of living your life purpose. If there's anything that we agree to and we want things, we want the things that we think we will get from things in life, we need to be aware of more. It's about who we become, and also align it to the things that happen, and knowing that challenges that come up, it's okay. It's a part of the life experience. It's a part of letting go of what doesn't serve. And as we begin to do that, everything in our life will begin to change. So this is about the awareness of your higher self. Instead of making the goal the Lamborghini and making the goal the lottery, make the goal connecting to your higher self and connecting to passion. Because when you get into this passionate feeling, it is such a high vibration that things will manifest anyways. Things happen easier than ever. Because I am connecting to my higher self, I'm not kidding you, I've had more abundance in my life in the last 6 months than I would have made in 10 years in the last job that I had 2 years ago. So it is a level that is undescribable. And I don't say that as I'm on top of the mountaintop, I'm perfectly integrated with my higher self, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I can tell you from experience that connecting this bridge, amazing things begin to happen. So I encourage you to tap into this yourself, to understand that you are much more powerful than you can imagine. This high vibrational state is who you naturally are, that you can remember some of this right now. That's part of the purpose of life. If you're watching this video, then you're probably already open to that idea. Also, if you want a free meditation that will show you how to raise your vibration to this state of consciousness, it's absolutely free. It's in the top of the description box below. It'll help you to raise your vibration and to raise your emotional set point. I recommend you listen for 21 days to get the maximum benefit out of it. Also, if you want to be a part of live Q&As on Instagram, I do live Q&As plus I do daily content there. You can go ahead and follow me. Link it right here for you. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification here next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, love, and namaste.